Now, you will learn how to use boredom for spiritual growth and enlightenment. But why are you so afraid of boredom? If you don't do something, even something needless, a panic arises, a huge fear. What is it that causes this frenzy of movement? Why are you so uncomfortable with this feeling? Boredom is one of the most important things in human life. Only man is capable of boredom. No other animal is capable of being bored. Boredom exists only when mind starts coming closer and closer to enlightenment. Boredom is just the polar opposite of enlightenment. Animals cannot become enlightened, therefore they cannot become bored either. Boredom simply shows that you are becoming aware of the futility of life, its constant repetitive wheel. You have done all those things before. Nothing happens. You have been into all those trips before. Nothing comes out of it. Boredom is the first indication that a great understanding is arising in you about the futility, meaninglessness of life and its ways. Now, you can respond to boredom in two ways. One is what is ordinarily done. Escape from it. Avoid it. Don't look eye to eye into it. Don't encounter it. Keep it at your back and run away. Run into things which can occupy you, which can become obsessions, which take you so far away from the realities of life that you never see boredom arising again. That's why people have invented alcohol, drugs, digital distractions. They are ways to escape from boredom. But you cannot really escape. You can only avoid for a while. Again and again, the boredom will be coming. And again, it will be more and more loud. You can escape in sex, in eating too much, in music, in 1,001 kinds of things you can escape. But again and again, the boredom will arise. It is not something that can be avoided. It is part of human growth. It has to be faced. The other response is to face it, to meditate on it, to be with it, to be it. That's what Buddha was doing under the Bodhi tree. That's what all Zen people have been doing down the ages. What exactly is meditation? Facing boredom is meditation. What does a meditator go on doing? Sitting silently, looking at his own navel, or watching his breathing. Do you think he is being entertained by these things? He is utterly bored. That's why the Zen master moves with a stick in his hand, because those bored people are bound to fall asleep. There is no other escape, so only one escape is left. At least they can fall asleep. They cannot escape. They have themselves, of their own accord, become part of the Zen training and the discipline. They cannot escape. But one escape is always available. You can fall asleep, then you forget all about it. That's why in meditation one feels sleepy. The whole effort in meditation is this: be bored, but don't escape from it. And keep alert, because if you fall asleep, you have escaped. Keep alert, watch it, witness it. If it is there, then it is there. It has to be looked into, to the very core of it. If you go on looking into boredom without escaping, the explosion comes. One day, suddenly, looking deep into boredom, you penetrate your own nothingness. Boredom is just the cover, the container in which is contained your inner nothingness. If you escape from boredom, you are escaping from your own nothingness. If you don't escape from boredom, if you start living with it, if you start accepting it, welcoming it, that's what meditation is all about. Welcoming boredom, going into it on one's own. Not waiting for it to come, but searching for it. Sitting for hours in a yoga posture, just watching your breathing, one gets utterly bored. And the whole training of meditation is such that it helps boredom. In a Zen monastery, you have to get up every day at the same time in the morning. Every day, year in, year out. It doesn't matter whether it is summer or winter. You have to get up early, 3 o'clock. You have to take the bath. You have to drink the same tea, and you have to sit. The same gestures followed again and again, and the whole day is also a very, very fixed routine. You will eat your breakfast at a certain time, then you will meditate again, then you will have your food at a certain time, and the same food. Everything helps boredom, and the same clothes, and the same monastery, and the same master every day with his stick walking around. And every day in the evening you have to go for a session with the master. And the questions that are given are such boring questions to meditate on. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Just think of it, it will drive you mad. What is the sound of one hand clapping? There is no answer to it. You know it. Everybody knows there is no answer to it. And the master goes on insisting, go on repeating, go on meditating on it. It is all well managed. The boredom has to be created immensely, tremendously. The boredom has to be allowed as totally as possible, has to be helped, supported from every side. The same evening, the same work, the same chanting of the mantra, the same time you have to go to sleep again. And this goes on, this wheel. Within a few days you are utterly bored and you cannot escape. There is no way to escape. You can't go to the movie. You can't look at the TV. You can't have anything that can help you to avoid it. You are thrown into it again and again. Great courage is needed to face it. It is almost like death. In fact, far more hard than death, because death comes when you become unconscious. And you are stirring all sorts of boredoms. What happens? There is the secret of all meditations. If you go on watching, boredom becomes bigger and bigger, intenser and intenser, and then the peak. Nothing can go on forever. There is a point from where the wheel turns. If you can go to the very extreme, to the very peak, then the change, transformation, enlightenment, satori, or whatever you want to call it, happens. Then one day, suddenly, the boredom becomes too much. You are suffocated. You are almost being killed by it. You are surrounded by an ocean of boredom. You are overflooded by it, and there seems to be no way to escape. The very intensity and totality of it, and the wheel turns. Suddenly boredom disappears, and there is satori, samadhi. You have entered your nothingness. Now there will be no boredom anymore. You have seen the very nothingness of life. You have disappeared. Who can be bored? With what? You exist no more. You are annihilated. Boredom is a great spiritual phenomenon. That's why buffaloes are not bored. They look perfectly happy and enjoying. Only man is bored. And only the people who are very talented, intelligent, they are bored. The stupid people are not bored. They are perfectly happy doing their jobs, raising their children, reproducing, eating, sitting in the movies, going to the hotel, participating in this and that. They are enjoying. They are not bored. They are the lowest types. They really belong to the world of buffaloes. They are not yet human. A man becomes human when he starts feeling bored. You can see it. The most intelligent child will be the most bored child, because nothing can keep his interest for long. Sooner or later, he stumbles upon the fact and asks, now what? What next? This is finished. I have seen this toy. I have looked into it. I have opened it. I have analyzed it. Now I am finished. What is next? Soon he starts finishing things. By the time he becomes young, he is already bored. Buddha was utterly bored. He left his kingdom when he was only 29, at the peak of his youth. Buddha was utterly bored with women, with wine, with wealth, with kingdom, with everything. He had seen all. He had seen through and through. He was bored. He renounced the world, not because the world is wrong. Remember, traditionally it is said he renounced the world because the world is bad. That is absolute nonsense. He renounced the world because he became so bored with it. It is not bad, neither is it good. If you are intelligent, it is boredom. If you are stupid, you can go on, then it is a merry-go-round. Then you move from one sensation to another. You are interested in trivia, and you go on repeating, and you are not conscious enough to see the repetition. That yesterday also you had been doing this, and today also you are doing, and again you are imagining tomorrow to do the same thing again. You must be really unintelligent. How can intelligence avoid boredom? It is impossible. Intelligence means seeing things as they are. Buddha left the world out of boredom. Utterly bored, he ran away from the world. And what was he doing for 6 years sitting in those forests? He was getting more and more bored. What can you do, sitting in a forest, watching your breath, looking at your navel, day in, day out, year in and year out? He created that boredom to its ultimate peak, and one night it disappeared. It disappears of its own accord. If you reach to the peak, the turn comes. It comes. And with that turn of the tide, light enters into your being. You disappear. Only light remains. And with light comes to light, you are full of joy. You are not, but full of joy, for no reason at all. Joy simply bubbles up in your being. The ordinary person is joyous for a reason. He has fallen in love with a new woman or a new man, and he is joyous. His joy is momentary. Tomorrow he will be fed up with this woman, and he will start looking for another. The ordinary man is joyous because he has got a new car. Tomorrow he will have to look for another car. It goes on, and he never sees the point of it, that always, finally, you are bored. Every act brings boredom. The intelligent person sees it. The sooner you see, the more intelligence you show, then what is left? Then only boredom is left, and one has to meditate over it. There is no way to escape from it. Then go into it. See where it leads. And if you can keep going into it, it leads into enlightenment. Only man is capable of boredom, and only man is capable of enlightenment. And the greatest problem for the meditator is boredom. Don't be slow. Be quick, because mind is very quick. It moves faster than anything else. It moves faster than light. Physicists say nothing moves faster than light. Of course, it seems impossible to move faster than light. Light moves 186,000 miles in 1 second, but physicists have no idea of the mind yet. They don't have such sophisticated instruments to measure the speed of the mind yet. Mind moves faster than light. You have to be very alert, otherwise mind is bound to ditch you somewhere. Before you become alert, mind will have already taken you somewhere far away. Mind is always ready to go on a trip, but mind is only in trips that it feels alive. Meditation simply means sitting silently, doing nothing, not even thinking. And the mind disappears. Because you are not on any trip, the mind is no longer needed. Mind is a guide for great journeys. If you are going somewhere, mind is very happy. In your going somewhere, mind can feel enhanced. But if you are not going anywhere, just sitting silently, doing nothing, the mind feels very sad. And it will happen almost always to meditators that when the mind feels sad, it starts creating boredom for you. That is a strategy of the mind. The mind is saying, come on, let us go somewhere. Let us do something. Why are you sitting? Just sitting doing nothing brings boredom. It is a trick of the mind. Otherwise, just sitting doing nothing will bring you more freshness. That's the experience of all the awakened ones, but not yours. In my room, what am I doing? Sitting silently, doing nothing. Spring comes and the grass grows by itself. Nothing has to be done really. The grass grows by itself. Life goes on by itself. Life flows by itself. You don't need to push the river. But in the beginning, mind will create boredom. Boredom is the mind's trick. The mind is saying, look, if you don't follow me, you will feel bored. If you don't follow me, you will feel utterly meaningless. If you don't follow me, you won't have any chance to enjoy. Come with me and I will take you to great entertainments. Mind is always bribing you by entertainments. Put on the TV, browse on the internet, use social media, go to the movie or at least to the club, gossip, do something. Boredom is a punishment from the mind to you if you are not doing anything. And the greatest problem for the meditator is boredom. If you can sit absolutely unconcerned about boredom, let the boredom be there. If you don't get disturbed by the boredom, soon the boredom will disappear. And instead of boredom, there comes a joy, such freshness that you have never known before. And it is not entertainment because there is nothing. You are simply sitting in an absolute void. And out of that void, the plenitude. Out of that void, a new kind of fulfillment. Boredom means that you are intelligent enough to see that life is meaningless, that it is just futile to go on living. Nothing comes out of it. Life is an effort to write your signature on water, not even on sand, because on sand it may remain for a while before the wind comes and destroys it. It is writing on water, and it disappears as it appears, immediately, instantly, and nothing is left behind, not even smoke. How many millions of people have lived on the earth? What have they left behind? They were also people like you. They were doing everything that you're doing, thinking all kinds of thoughts, dreams, ideals, and they made every effort to be creative, to be fulfilled, to be contented. But what is left, whether they had been or not, makes no difference. If there had been not a single human being before us, it would not make any difference. What difference are you going to make? And if you cannot make any difference, then your life is uncreative. Creativity means making a difference by your being here, not leaving the earth exactly the same as you have found it. Your imprints will always remain there. You may be gone, but what you have created will go on influencing generations after generations. Every man who has ever lived has thought about his life. What does it signify? Is it just vegetating? No animal is bored because no animal is bothered about meaning. No animal is concerned about creativity. A buffalo chewing grass is as contented as the Buddha. She is not aware of her contentment. That is the difference. But she is perfectly contented. No tomorrow, no yesterday, no problems. Just watch a buffalo chewing grass and you can see the difference between man and animals. A man may be sitting on a golden throne, or he may be a beggar. It does not make any difference, but both are immensely concerned about why they are here. For what? Is it just accidental, or is there some destiny to it? This question remains unanswered, hence the boredom. You cannot find contentment, blissfulness, or meaning in anything. You see every day passing by, and you know that death is coming closer, 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 and life is not yielding anything. Your hands are empty. Strangely, when a child is born, he is born with closed hands, as if he is bringing something into life. When a man dies, he dies with open hands. All is lost. There is nothing to hold in his fist. There is no need for a fist. No man has ever died with closed fists, and no child has ever been born with open fists. It is significant. Physiologically, it has different meanings. The child is not yet capable, not strong enough to open his hands. Physiologically, they are not actually fists. It is because the child simply cannot open his hands. That is the physiological explanation, that he cannot open his hands yet. He needs a little strength, then he can open his hands. In the dying man, his whole body becomes relaxed. Death is the ultimate relaxant. For the whole of his life he was tense. Now life is leaving the body. The body was not tense. It was the life in it, the intelligence, the mind, that was making it tense. Now, the fist is a tense state of the hands. When life leaves the body, even if you are making a fist, It is bound to happen that your fist will open up, because now there is no more energy to keep the fist closed. The child had no energy to open it up. The old man has no more energy to keep it closed. It needs strength to keep it closed. That is a physiological explanation. But the metaphor is beautiful, and I am mentioning it as a metaphor. Every child is born with the idea that there is going to be something great. Every child comes with hope, ambition, desire, and a confidence that all this is going to materialize. That his dreams are not going to remain dreams. They will become realities. To me, that is the metaphor of his closed fist. He is coming with a treasure, with a secret. He is not coming without a message. He is coming with a message to be fulfilled. He is coming with a destiny. That's why children are not bored. They may cry, they may weep, they may laugh, they may smile, but you cannot find bored babies. They have not yet felt that life is not what it is supposed to be. They have not experienced life as made of the same stuff as dreams. It needs a little growth, a little experience. And the more intelligent a child is, the sooner he becomes bored. The stupid ones take a little longer, obviously, because to see the meaninglessness of life, you need a very sharp intelligence. But people are distracted. Why are people engaged in all these entertainments? Simply to avoid being bored. Just watch yourself left alone for one day in the house. You start doing bizarre things. You will turn Netflix on, then put it off, then take your phone. Not that you are really interested, but what else to do? When you are just left alone, boredom starts descending on you. You will start phoning friends. Would you like to come to my place? Or I can come to your place. Or we can meet in Zorba the Buddha. He is bored. You are bored. It is interesting that two bored people start entertaining each other. As far as I can see, this is absolutely against arithmetic. I don't know much arithmetic. From the very beginning in my school, I heard about these 3 R's. The whole of education consists of 3 R's. One of my teachers said, reading, writing, arithmetic. I said, whom are you trying to befool, arithmetic? Just to manage to make it to 3 R's, you are changing arithmetic into arithmetic. I told him, education consists only of 2 R's, reading and writing. Arithmetic I don't take into account. I have never been at ease with that arithmetic, but this much I can understand. 2 bored persons meeting will make the boredom double. That's what happens in marriages all around the world. Everybody knows both were alone and were feeling bored. They started entertaining each other, and immediately they fell into the fallacy that in their being together, life would be interesting. There would be some juice in it. But meeting once in a while, you are both prepared. You are both ready. You have taken a shower. She has taken a shower. And for at least 3 hours, she has been before the mirror and used all kinds of perfumes and deodorants and lip stuff and whatnot. And then you meet for a few minutes or an hour. Of course you both are far away. Only your personalities, the masks meet. She has come with painted smiles, and you have come with painted smiles. The strangest thing is that you know that you are not what you are pretending to be. She knows she is not what she is pretending to be, but both believe that the other is exactly what the other is pretending to be. This is something unbelievable, that naturally they want to live together. If 1 hour is so sweet, if 1 hour is so miraculous that all boredom disappears, they start imagining how beautiful it will be to be together 24 hours a day. The fallacy has continued all through history, and I don't see any possibility that it is going to stop even in the future. If it stops, it will be very significant, meaningful, and it will give you a chance to understand boredom. By understanding boredom, you can go beyond it. By avoiding it, you remain trapped in it. Marriage is a way to avoid it, just as there are so many other ways. But when you are together 24 hours a day, how long can you pretend? Pretension needs tremendous effort and energy. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days and the honeymoon is over. Your mask starts slipping. You don't even care anymore if it slips and falls down, because the girl's mask is also slipping. I have heard a man married a woman and they went on their honeymoon. The man said, "Before we go to bed, it is my old habit to put the light off. It is such a deep-rooted habit that I cannot go to bed unless I put the light off." The woman said, "This is strange. You can go to bed. I am coming from the bathroom and I will put the light off." He said, "Then I will wait outside the bed." But the woman insisted, "This is my habit. I will go into the bathroom and come out only if you have gone to bed." The man said, "This is strange. From the very beginning there is a conflict of habits." Then he said, "Now there is no point. The truth is that I don't have real legs, so I cannot undress in the light." The woman said, "Then it is okay, because I don't have breasts. You can undress in the light. I can undress in the light. I was afraid that you may discover that I don't have any breasts." The man said, "My God, I was afraid that you would discover that my legs are false." But the marriage is already on the rocks. The honeymoon has not even started. The light is still on. Every honeymoon, more or less, in different ways, ends in the same way. Once you have known the woman, her physiology, her topography, once she has known you, your great lovemaking, huffing and puffing and perspiring and stinking, now you know you are going to bore each other as much as when you were alone. Before, at least you were alone and bored. Now you are bored and somebody else is also there to bore you. Then husband and wife go on living, supposedly happily ever after. That's how every story ends, how every film ends. After that they lived happily ever after. After that, they did not live at all. They simply died. Every day they died more and more. But man's stupidity is such that he won't see the exact problem. You will think, "This woman failed me, this man failed me. Perhaps we are not meant for each other," as if there is some woman who is meant for you or some man who is meant for you. Forgive me, there is nobody, no man, no woman meant for you. You are born alone and you have to accept your aloneness. The sooner you do, the better. But aloneness is boredom because there is no entertainment, nothing interesting. Boredom is something very fundamental. It is part of not accepting your aloneness. It is part of not being able to enjoy your aloneness. You have been taught by the society to escape, to go on running, not to look back. But boredom follows you like a shadow. Boredom is your shadow. Where are you going to escape to? You can't escape from it. Perhaps for a few moments you can drown it in alcohol, but the next morning it will come back, worse than it was before. Then you call it a hangover. You suffer the hangover. Still again, you are going to drink, knowing perfectly well that the hangover is coming. But at least for a few hours you are absent. Drunkards are not bored. You can go into any pub and see the drunkards. They are utterly happy and enjoying, shouting, screaming and beating people, doing all kinds of things, but they are radiant. You will not see them miserable, sitting in a corner philosophically like Rodin's statue of the thinker, with the hand under the chin, half-closed eyes. The very posture of Rodin's statue, the thinker, shows sadness. It has exactly caught the mood of boredom. He is so bored, he has no energy even to open his eyes and look around. Inside, questions upon questions are standing in a row, an endless row. When one marriage fails, people start getting divorces and searching for another woman. I have heard of a man who got married 8 times, and each time he found that somehow he ended up with the same type of woman. He must have been a slightly alert man. He watched and thought, "This is strange." But this is not strange. It is simple psychology. You fall in love with a woman. You have certain ideas about beauty, form, aesthetics. And that woman fits into your formula of who is going to be the right wife for you. as if right wives exist or right husbands exist. All are wrong, because the whole institution of marriage is idiotic. So there is no right husband, no right wife, unless somebody like me manages the marriage of two people. Because you choose a woman, you forget that you have a certain formula unconsciously working. Why do you suddenly choose a particular woman? There are so many women in the world. It is because this woman fits with your idea of a right wife. Now, you divorce after 3 months because although you found that her nose fits with the formula, her hair color fits with the formula, her body fits with the formula, she is not only a combination of hair, eyes, nose. These are nothing. She is an individual, hidden from you completely. So you have only seen the outer side of the woman, and you don't know her inner depths, where she really is. And she has only seen your outer form. It is just like seeing a fence and deciding this is the right house. You have only seen the fence around the house, not even the walls of the house. What to say about the inner chambers? What if there are scorpions or snakes, witches and devils? One never knows what is there, just the fence fits. But you can't live outside the fence. You get married just to go inside the house. And when you enter each other's house, it is terrible because you have chosen each other out of boredom, not out of joy. You have chosen not to share something, but to get something. The woman has also chosen to get something because she is empty. Now two beggars are choosing each other thinking that the other is an emperor. Once you come closer, dreams are broken. You can divorce the woman, but how are you going to choose another woman? You will choose again by the old formula that you know, that is fixed in your unconscious. Perhaps you are not aware of it. The old formula will find the same kind of woman again. You cannot find anybody else. It is almost like marrying the same woman. The man married 8 women. When he married the 8th woman, after 2 days he found that he had married her once before. It took 2 days for him to discover it. They were all similar types, but this one looked like an exact replica. And the woman was not yet aware that it was the same man. Only when he told her did she become aware. He said, "My God, what have we done? Let's be together for 2 or 3 months and then divorce." Wherever divorce has come as a fashion, you are bound to find that you will always choose the same type. And the woman, on the other side, is going to choose the same type of man. You are going into the unnecessary trouble of changing the wife and the husband and the house and the job and going through the courts. Hindus have discovered long before that it is pointless. You will again choose the same woman. She will again choose the same husband. So why not decide once forever? We are going to be eternal companions, torturing each other. What is the point of changing? At least we will become accustomed of each other's torture. Perhaps we may start loving each other's torture. One just needs a little practice and one starts loving any kind of thing, and practice for lives together. I think Hindus have some insight into it. Why practice again with another? It is better to have the old companion you know perfectly well. She knows you perfectly well. There is no need to start everything from ABC. You can start from X, Y, Z. There is no need for a honeymoon. I have heard a very miserly Christian was going to a hill station. In the train, somebody sitting by his side asked, "Where are you going?" He said, "I am going on my honeymoon." The man said, "But I don't see your wife." He said, "She will be going next year because 2 persons going together is too expensive. So this time I am going. Next year she will be going." I think that is insightful. At least they will not destroy their honeymoon. People are doing all kinds of things for the simple reason that they could forget themselves. Because the moment they remember themselves, there is boredom. In the whole society, all the cultures teach you to escape quickly from yourself. The further away, the better. Boredom is a blessing. It is a goading for the search. It is a goading towards God, towards the Tao. Use boredom as a jumping stone towards the ultimate, and then you will feel grateful, even grateful to the experience of boredom, which is painful, full of anguish. But the wise man can transform even boredom into bliss, and the fool goes on destroying all opportunities for bliss and goes on creating misery out of the energy, which could have created a paradise within you. The paradise is already there, just you have to take a 180-degree turn. Existence is available for those who are available to existence. Don't escape from reality, from truth, from existence. And then I tell you, there is no boredom. Life is infinite delight.